I want you to imagine two students, both from the same country, both accepted into UK universities in 2026, both with roughly the same budget. One of them lands in the UK, pays sky-high rent every single month, watches their savings disappear, and spends their entire degree stressed about money. The other one does something different. They watched one video before they arrived. They made one smart decision. And by the time they finished their degree, they had not just survived in the UK. They had actually built something. A foundation, a foothold, a future. This video is that one video. So if you are serious about coming to the UK, or you are already here, and you feel like your money is just bleeding out every month, do not close this tab. Stay with me. Welcome to NESPath UK, the channel where we give international students the real information, the honest numbers, and the strategies that the expensive consultants charge you thousands for. We do it for free. Every single week. And today's video might be the most important one we have ever made. Because in 2026, the UK property and rental market is sitting at a crossroads. And if you understand what is happening right now, you can use it to your massive advantage. Here is exactly what we are covering today. We are going to talk about why low-cost property in the UK is suddenly attracting international students in a way it never has before. We are going to reveal the most affordable cities in the country right now, with real numbers, not vague estimates. We are going to break down the smartest ways to find and rent affordable flats in 2026. We are going to walk through mortgage advice that actually applies to people in your situation. And we are going to go through the most trusted property websites that smart investors and smart students are using right now. Stay until the end, because the last point about property websites alone could save you months of confusion and hundreds of pounds. Let's start with the big picture. Because to understand why 2026 is such a unique moment, you need to understand what happened in the 3 years before it. Between 2021 and 2023, the UK property market went absolutely wild. Prices surged. Rents surged even harder. The average rent in England rose by over 20% in just 2 years. Students were competing for rooms like it was a bidding war. Landlords were getting dozens of inquiries within hours of posting a listing. And international students, who couldn't view properties in person, who didn't have UK credit histories, who couldn't provide the references that landlords wanted, were getting pushed to the back of every queue. It was brutal. Then something shifted. By 2024, the market started to breathe again. Interest rates, which had been crushing buyers, began to come down slowly. Some landlords who had been holding on to overpriced properties started reducing. New purpose-built student accommodation started opening in smaller cities. And most importantly, international students started wising up. They started looking beyond London and Manchester. They started asking better questions. They started doing the research. And the ones who did, they found opportunities that most people still don't know exist. That brings us to right now, 2026. And this is where it gets genuinely exciting. The students who are winning in the UK right now are not the ones with the biggest budgets. They are the ones who understand one simple truth, that the UK is not one housing market. It is dozens of completely different markets, all operating at the same time. And some of those markets are still incredibly affordable, not just affordable for the UK, affordable full stop. Let me give you some numbers that might genuinely surprise you. In certain UK cities right now, you can rent a clean furnished room in a shared house for £250 to £350 per month. You can find a studio flat, your own space, your own kitchen, your own bathroom for £450 to £550 per month, and you can find full properties, actual houses and flats you could buy, listed between £50,000 and £150,000. These numbers are real. These cities are real. And I am going to name every single one of them. Bradford. This city comes up first because it is genuinely one of the best kept secrets in UK student housing. It has a massive South Asian community, which means familiar food, familiar culture, familiar faces for a lot of international students. It has multiple universities, and it sits 9 minutes by train from Leeds, one of the most vibrant, economically growing cities in the north of England, 9 minutes. So you are not sacrificing access. You are just paying a fraction of what Leeds residents pay. Average shared room in Bradford right now, between £280 and £380 per month. For a lot of students, that difference between Bradford rent and Leeds rent alone is enough to completely change their financial situation during their degree. Hull, Kingston upon Hull. If Bradford is a well-kept secret, Hull is practically invisible to most international students, and that invisibility is exactly what makes it so valuable right now. Average shared room rates in Hull are as low as £220 per month. Let that sink in. £220. The University of Hull is fully accredited. The city is compact and easy to navigate. It has a genuine community feel. And it is sitting right on the east coast with transport connections to York, Leeds and beyond. The students who choose Hull are not settling. They are being strategic. Stoke-on-Trent. Home to Keele University and Staffordshire University, Stoke sits right in the heart of the Midlands. Average room rental between £250 and £350. The city is within easy reach of Birmingham and Manchester. And because it is not on the typical radar of international students, competition for good rooms is significantly lower than in more famous cities. You are not fighting 50 other people for the same listing. You find something good, you move quickly, and you get it. Sunderland, another city that is changing fast. The University of Sunderland has built a strong and genuine international community over the past decade. Average rooms sit between £260 and £360. And there is something else happening in Sunderland that makes it particularly interesting for anyone thinking beyond just renting. The city is undergoing serious economic regeneration, new investment, new infrastructure, new business, which means property values that are currently low have real potential to grow. More on why that matters in just a moment. Middlesbrough, Wolverhampton, Derby, Coventry. All of these cities follow the same pattern. Real universities, real international communities, real transport links, and average shared room rents comfortably under £400 per month. These are not compromised choices. At NestPath UK, we have said it before, and we will keep saying it. Location is a tool, not a status symbol. The smartest students choose their city based on what it gives them, not what it sounds like on paper. Now I want to take a moment and talk to a slightly different group, because not everyone watching this video is just looking for somewhere to rent. Some of you, or your families, are thinking bigger. And in 2026, thinking bigger about UK property is not as crazy as it might sound. Here is a question that more and more international families are starting to ask. If my son or daughter is going to be in the UK for 3 years, maybe 4, maybe longer, why are we paying rent that builds nothing? Why are we putting £500 a month into someone else's pocket when we could be building equity? And in those affordable cities I just mentioned, that question has a real answer. Because in Bradford, Sunderland, Hull and Stoke, you can still find properties, whole properties, listed between £50,000 and £150,000, terrace houses, 2-bedroom flats, properties with genuine rental potential, a property at £80,000, a 25% deposit, which is what most lenders ask for from non-standard or international applicants, is £20,000. That is a meaningful amount of money, yes, but compare it to 3 years of rent at £400 per month. That is £14,400 gone, disappeared, with nothing to show for it. Versus £20,000 that secures you an asset that could be worth significantly more in 5 to 10 years, and that generates rental income in the meantime. This is the conversation that NestPath UK wants more international families to be having. Not because property is always the right choice. It isn't always, but because it deserves to be part of the conversation. Let's talk about mortgages, because I know the word alone makes some people want to skip ahead. But stay with me, because what is happening in the mortgage market in 2026 is genuinely relevant and genuinely good news. After the Bank of England's aggressive rate hikes in 2022 and 2023 pushed mortgage rates to 6 and 7%, which effectively froze a huge portion of the buyer market, rates have been on a slow but steady downward path. By late 2024 and into 2025, two-year fixed-rate deals from mainstream lenders started appearing below 5% again. Into 2026, that trend has continued. We are not back to the ultra-low rates of 2020 and 2021. Those were exceptional and unlikely to return anytime soon. But we are in a range where buying is beginning to make mathematical sense again for people with decent deposits and stable income. For international buyers or UK visa holders, the lending landscape is more complex, but it is not impossible. Specialist mortgage brokers who work with non-UK nationals exist, and they matter enormously. A standard high street bank will often say no to someone on a student visa or a work visa. A specialist broker knows which lenders will say yes. They know what documentation is needed. They know how to present a case. If you are seriously considering buying property in the UK as an international student or recent graduate, the single most important first step is finding one of these specialist brokers, not going directly to a bank. Deposit requirements for non-standard applicants typically sit around 20 to 25%. Proof of income, either your own or from a guarantor, will be required. And your visa status matters, because most lenders want to see a visa with sufficient time remaining to cover the mortgage term, or at least a significant portion of it. None of these things are insurmountable. But knowing them in advance means you are not blindsided. And NestPath UK will always give you the real picture, not the glossy version. Now let's get into the websites, because this is where so many students and first-time buyers lose weeks of their lives scrolling through the wrong platforms, missing the best listings, and making decisions based on incomplete information. Rightmove and Zoopla. These are the two biggest property portals in the UK, and yes, you should be using them. But use them intelligently. Filter by price, by property type, and, this is the trick most people miss, sort by date listed and specifically look at properties that have been on the market for more than 30 days. These are properties where the landlord or seller is starting to feel anxious, where negotiation is possible, where you have leverage. Most people never filter this way. The ones who do find deals. Spare room. If you are looking for a room in a shared house, Spare Room is the single best platform in the UK. It is free to search. Listings are updated in real time. You can filter by city, by maximum rent, by bills included, by student-friendly properties. And bills included is something you should always look for. A room listed at £350 with all bills included is almost always better value than a room at £300, where you are then splitting electricity, gas, internet, and council tax on top. OpenRent. This platform has changed the UK rental market in a quiet but significant way. It allows landlords to list directly to tenants, no letting agency involved, no agency fees, no admin charges, no referencing fees. Just a direct relationship between landlord and tenant. For students who are already tight on budget, removing agency fees from the equation is not a small thing. It can save you hundreds of pounds before you even move in. Gumtree. Underestimated, underused, and still very much alive. Many private landlords, particularly in those smaller, more affordable cities, do not bother with Rightmove or Spare Room. They post on Gumtree because it is simple, it is free, and it reaches local people. Some of the best value rooms in Bradford, Hull, and Stoke are sitting on Gumtree right now. If you are not checking it as part of your search, you are missing a layer of the market. Unilodgers and Student.com. These two platforms are specifically designed for students, and they are particularly useful for international students who are still in their home country and need to secure accommodation before they arrive. Both platforms allow you to book verified, purpose-built student accommodation online with contracts, photos, and reviews. They are not always the cheapest option. Purpose-built student housing tends to carry a premium, but they offer security and peace of mind that is genuinely valuable when you are booking a room you have never physically seen. And finally, Two things that are completely free and completely overlooked. Your university's own accommodation office, which often has partnerships with local landlords and access to housing lists that are never publicly posted, and your university's Facebook housing groups. Every single UK university has them. They move fast. Students post available rooms, landlords offer discounts to fill quickly, and people find housemates in hours. Join every group relevant to your university before you arrive. Set notifications. Move quickly when something good appears. The students who do this consistently find better housing than the students who rely on the big platforms alone. Before I wrap up, I want to leave you with 3 things that will protect you. Because the UK housing market, as full of opportunity as it is, also has its dangers. And international students are disproportionately targeted by housing scams precisely because they are often searching remotely. They are anxious to secure something, and they may not know what legitimate rental processes look like. Never, under any circumstances, send a deposit before you have a signed tenancy agreement in your hands. A legitimate landlord will always provide paperwork before asking for money. If someone is asking for a deposit before any documentation, walk away. It does not matter how perfect the property looks or how urgent they say it is. Walk away. Always request a live video tour if you cannot view the property in person, not a pre-recorded video. Live, on a video call, in real time, walking through every room. Any landlord who refuses this request is not someone you want to rent from. Any landlord who is genuine will be happy to do it. It takes 10 minutes, and it tells you everything you need to know, and verify that the person renting to you actually has the right to rent that property. Ask for proof of ownership or proof that their own mortgage allows them to sublet. It sounds formal, but it is a completely normal request, and any legitimate landlord will not hesitate. If they hesitate, that is your answer. The UK housing market in 2026 is genuinely full of opportunity for international students who are informed. The affordable cities are real. The low-cost properties are real. The mortgage possibilities are real. The platforms are right there, free to use. The only thing standing between where you are now and a smart housing decision is information. And that is what NestPath UK exists to give you. If this video helped you in any way, and I really hope it did, please hit the like button right now. It is the single fastest way to help NestPath UK reach more international students who need exactly this. If you are new here, subscribe, because every single week we bring you honest, practical, up-to-date content on UK housing, property, student life, and smart financial decisions. And drop a comment below. Tell me which city you are considering. Ask me anything about renting or buying in the UK, or just say where in the world you are watching from. I read every comment. I reply to as many as I can. This community is everything.